Well, hello, friends. Call me a liar. I said I probably wasn't going to do another video after the video that I did the other day. But as it turns out, my family is gone for the day. My husband, it's Saturday, January 4th. And my husband had to go and finish a job because, as I told you before, my mother-in-law has passed away, and both my husband and my daughter are going to be leaving for New York for her funeral. So my husband had to finish up a job today, and my daughter decided she wanted to go with him. So my house is empty, except just me and the puppy dogs, and it's nice and quiet, and this way I can get a video done. I'm hoping to get more than one done. I have been watching Julie's channel again, and she has another video where we make some ephemera, and I might do that one after this one, depending on how quickly I can get everything done. But for now, this is something that I actually created myself. And while I'm sure that a bunch of people have already done something like this, if not exactly the same thing, what I've done is I've created a little paper pad booklet, I guess is a good word for it. And what I've done is I've taken some of my least favorite Tim Holtz cardstocks, and I've been experimenting, and I've been making little paper pads. Now, what's good about these is that you can replace the paper pad after you've used all of the paper up, because it's just simply tied in. Now, this one's kind of plain. I just used, I guess you call this kitchen string, or whatever kind of string. It's a simple roll of string. So these are just kind of plain, but these were my experiments. And as you can see, I have one. This was one of the first ones I made. And when I made it, I actually goofed up and I put all of the holes in the wrong place. But I didn't really like this one because I felt that the top flap here was a little bit too big and it gave you less writing space. Of course, you could untie it, take the paper pad out, and use the whole paper, but I just thought the flap was a little too long. And on this one, this one is exactly the same again. I decided that the flap was a little too long, but I made all of my holes in the right place, so I was improving. Then we have this one, and this is when things started to get a little bit better. I had shortened up the flap, and I made it a little bit more appropriate, giving you more writing space. As I said, you can replace these papers, so no biggie. And again here, same thing. I was improving, but what I did here was, you'll see on the next one, I decided that I didn't need as many scores on the top. So then finally, we got the one that I do like, and that would be this one. And this little one even has a pocket. So if you wanted to take whatever you've written on here and keep the little notes that you made, you could just simply fold them in half and tuck them into your little pocket. So this is the one we are going to make today, and I'm going to show you how. We're going to start first by making our little booklet. Then I'm going to have to go away because I just realized I didn't cut a piece of paper for this one yet. I will go away for what for you will be a split second. For me, it'll probably just be about 5 minutes. And we will also make the pocket. The pocket is optional. You could have it just plain on the inside if you wanted to. Okay, so let's put this one aside somewhere. I have a stack of all of the little journals and flip-flops that I've been making all week alongside of me over here. You can't see it. All right. What you are going to need is you're going to need papers, of course, about 10 to 15. These are papers, not scraps, although you could use scraps. I have a paper pad that I bought many, many years ago before I realized that paper is not the way to go when you're creating a lot of things. So it has been sitting. If you're interested, the name of the paper pad is Theodosia Square. I believe it's a Hobby Lobby paper. Have no clue if it's still available. You could search around if you want to. But I took some of those papers and I cut them down to 3.5 by 5. What originally sparked this, though, was if you look, you might notice some of these papers look familiar. I've been using these papers in my little mini journal that I made, and the flip-flap file folder flip-flap journals that I made. I'll link those videos in the description box below in case you haven't seen it. So I was like, well, what am I going to do with all of these papers? And I said, let me try to come up with an idea for making a paper pad. So that's what I did. Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Okay. So I have, I think, about 13 or 14 little pieces of paper here. You could do 10 to 15. They will fit in the little fold for the flap that we're going to make. So yeah, this is my little paper pad. So I've taken all of those papers and I've stapled them together, which is a little bit more convenient when you want to remove it and put in another pile, but that's how big you would make them. For the actual journal itself, or should I say the booklet itself, I've cut a piece of, again, Tim Holtz cardstock, and you're going to need to cut a piece to 6.5 high by 8.25 long. I was going to tell you and be really smart about all of this, that if you're using directional paper, be careful how you cut it. I wasn't careful and I wasn't thinking while I did it. So yeah, it's a little bit lopsided. A little bit crooked, but it actually doesn't really bother me because, as you see, this portion of the paper is upside down. Okay, enough with the nonsense. Let me get out my scoreboard. Okay, I'm just going to move my hot chocolate over, and I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and we will begin scoring. Now, hopefully, the way I have the phone tilted, you'll be able to see the top of the scoreboard, and you are barely. But what you're going to need, and I've got my score tool, is you're going to start on your short side, and you are going to be making the portion of the folio that's going to be the little flap. That would be this part right here. Very simple. You're going to score at 5.25. Okay. I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do this gently because I didn't show you, but on one of these I was trying to be a little bit rough with the paper and try to make it the scores a little bit deeper into the paper, and I actually, oh, here it is right here, tore the paper. So I had to repair this using some washi tape because I ripped it right down the seam. So if you're using thicker cardstock, the Tim Holtz, it happens to be very thick. Be firm, but be gentle. Okay, so back to scoring. You're going to score at 5.25, and you're going to score at 5 3/8. So you're just going to have a little 1/8 of an inch rollover, but it's enough for us to tuck in our little paper pads. Okay, so remember, that's on the 6.5 inch side. Now you're going to turn it, and on the 8.25 inch side, you're going to create a little seam binding, okay, edging for your paper pad. And on this side, you're going to score at 4, okay, like so, 4 1/8, like so, okay, gently but firmly, and then again at 4 1/4. So that'll give you just a little rollover edge for where your paper pad will go in, and you have that little raised area. Let's see, let's grab this one. You just have that little, you can't see it again. Let me pull my lamp over. See how you have that little rolled edge right there? that's what you're creating by doing that. Okay, let me move my lamp out of the way. Let me get rid of my scoreboard. I'm going to put my score tool here, and we will proceed to cutting. And of course, I thought I had everything out. Oh, I want to show you all my new little friend here. She's sitting on my desk, and she is, yes, Hello Kitty. And my daughter has named her Catosaurus because she's kind of a little brontosaurus thing here. So she's sitting up at the top of my desk. My daughter won her in one of those little machines. And I said to her, oh, win one for me too. And she said, you can have her. Okay, now what you're going to do, you have your 5 1/4 and your 5 3/8 up here. You're going to decide which side of your paper, if it's double-sided like mine is, you want to be the front. And I would like for this side to be the front and have this side be the flap. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it over, and I'm hoping you can see those lines here. Okay, you're going to cut across the 5 1/4 line all the way up to the last line on your fold over for your center, which would be your 4-inch line, depending on which way you're choosing to make this. Okay, so we're going to cut out this whole, no, we're not. Yes, we are. Okay, because this is going to be the front of my little booklet. We have to cut off this flap here. And we want to cut it up here so that we leave this little area here, the flap, free to swing back and forth. Okay? So I'm going to grab my scissor, and I am going to do my very best to cut this straight. Okay, and let's see if we can do this. All right, we're good so far. We're cutting, we're cutting, we're cutting, and it's already crooked. And now you're going to cut up to that very last line here. So you can see that now this little flap swings freely. Then, to complete cutting it out, you're going to cut a little bit over to the right of the score mark, just because I want to give that extra little smidge of room. So you're going to cut alongside that score line here. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean as soon as I cut it all off, and it's going to hopefully be straight. Well, not too bad. So you see you have your little roll over here. Your edges will match. You see your little seam right there? And I don't know if you can see the little roll over here. That's that part that we wanted to create to give room for the pad. And now just fold your flap down on the score mark just to make sure that it will close nicely. Yes. So see, we cut out that whole seam there, which is what you want to accomplish. And let me just take a look at this and see how bad this is. And I'm just going to take and I'm going to straighten this line out right here. Okay, because it is a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to cut it a smidge to even it up. Okay, that's pretty good. Not too bad. Trim it just a little bit more to make sure that it's straight. Okay. And I may have cut it a little too much, but that's all right. Okay, and then we're just going to take that little piece off right there. Like so. Okay. It's a little bit, still a little crooked. I'm doing good today. Promised myself I wasn't going to make a mess. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay. So now there you go. You have your basic little journal. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to round our corners. And I have chosen to use the medium-sized corner rounder portion of this, which is the R7. And I'm going to round my corner here. And I'm going to round my corner here. And I'm going to round this corner. And this corner. And also this corner. Okay. Now comes the little measuring part that we're going to have to do to make sure that we get our holes on our flap pretty much centered. So this flap, once you fold it down, now this is your 5 1/4 inch mark. So you want to fold your flap down on that 5 1/4 inch mark. And I'm just going to push it down. I'm going to make sure it's straight on here. And I'm just going to push it down. I don't want to score it down because I don't want it to be too hard of a fold. Okay? So you're going to take your ruler and you're going to measure. Now, this flap is now 1 inch deep. Okay? And you want to make sure that you're going to be making your holes. So you want to make sure you're just about in the center. And what I've done, where did I put my pencil, is I counted over 1, 2, whoops, sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. And I'm going to make a mark at the 5/8 point. Okay? Now, in order to get your pad to be laying in the center of this, which is just about here, okay? You want to give enough room to make your holes in your pad and your holes in your flap without hole punching too far over on your paper pad. So what you're going to do now is you're going to put your ruler up against that little pencil mark that you made there. I'm hoping you can see it. Let me bring it up a little. You have that little pencil mark right there that we just made. You can see it, it's reflecting. You're going to take your ruler and you're going to put your ruler up against that pencil mark, okay? We're going to line it up there, make sure our ruler is straight, and we're going to measure over from this side 3/4 of an inch, okay? And from the other side, you're going to measure over to 3 1/4 inches, okay? And that'll put your holes basically evenly spaced, and also will make your holes not too far over on your little paper pad, okay? So your holes on your paper pad will fall right about here and right about here, okay? That's enough space for them to grip and not rip off. Now what I'm going to do, because I got this cool tool for Christmas, I'm going to take my T-square so that I'm sure that my lines are completely straight. And I'm going to line my T-square up with my 3 1/4 inch mark, which is just about here, okay? And I'm going to make a line, okay? This is so we know that our holes are centered. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up with my 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to go this way so that I can see, because again, I'm working around the tripod. And I'm going to make another line going that way, okay? So now you have a line. You can see it's off by a little, but it works out well with the paper pad, okay? So I've made my line at 3 1/4 and at 3/4. Now I'm going to make my line for my center point, because this is how we know where we're going to punch our holes. So I'm going to line up my little ruler here, and I'm going to make a line across this way, okay? So you can see right there, this is where you're going to punch your holes, right on these little center lines there. All right, I'm going to put this to the side, and I see that I already made pencil marks. You like my new pad? Isn't it cool? I got it on Amazon. And the reason I got it on Amazon is it's a little bit less expensive than the Fiskars ones, which are the ones I usually buy all the time, and they are fantastic. But the rate at which I ruin them is a shame. Okay, so we're going to take our crocodile, and I'm going to line the big hole on my crocodile up to the center point right here as best as I can. And I know you can't see this, but I'm going to punch my hole, okay? So I have my hole there, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to line this up as best as I can with my little center hole there, and I'm going to punch. And I really didn't get them straight, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. If I had been thinking beforehand, but when I start to talk and I don't think, you can use this little marker here to line up so that your holes end up on the same exact line each time. Even though I've made all those lines, I wasn't very accurate. Okay, so now we have it folded on our 5 1/4 mark. We're going to take our little paper pad and we are going to center it again as best as we can. Okay, I want to be able to make sure that my little flap is going to fold, and it is, so I can even pull my paper pad over a little bit more, like so. And again, test run, okay? And we'll just make sure that it's even along the sides here and that our paper pad is not interfering, and it's not. So now I'm going to take my paper pad and I'm going to push it up to that 5 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to bring my flap down, okay? Now, once I've brought my flap down, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace through these little holes here, okay, and make marks onto my paper pad, like so, okay? And you can see I've made my pencil marks. And again, my holes are not perfect, but then again, neither are we, okay? And I'm going to take my crocodile and I'm going to punch right through those papers on that mark. Now I'm going to pull this down because now that I moved it up, I don't have enough space, there we go, to reach where my hole is. Okay, and so I'm going to line up my crocodile with those little holes that little marks that I made, and I'm going to punch my hole. Okay, and my crocodile will go through about, I think I said these were, it's like 14 sheets of paper on here. And make my hole on the other side. Okay, now we're going to take our paper pad and we're going to put it back into our little booklet. And we're going to line up our holes, okay? And this is why we do this way. And we don't punch through front to back. And you can see our holes are lined up almost perfectly. And we're going to take and we're going to make a mark on the back, like so, okay? So you have your little marks there as well. Now, you can just fold over this portion, okay, and make sure that you've lined it up with your little holes and just punch through. I have been putting the paper pad back in and punching through the whole thing, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch through these two holes, one there and one there. Whoops, if I can get my excess paper out, there we go. And I'm going to line this hole up. And again, I'm just going to punch through both portions. Okay, so now you have your holes in the front, your holes in the back, and you have your little paper pad, and you're going to line that up with those holes, okay? Like I said, they might be off by a smidge. And now we would take our string, okay, and we would tie it in. But what I want to do before I put the whole thing together is I want to go around and I want to ink this whole thing. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to ink and I'm going to come back and then we'll assemble this and I'll show you how to make the pocket. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. And what I've done is I've gone around and I've inked all of my edges on my little booklet here. And now we're going to put our little paper pad in, which is one of those no-duh moments. And so we're going to line up our holes. I've cut a piece of string that's about 18 inches long, okay? And I am just going to come in from the back through my hole here and through my hole on the other side. While I was gone, I also cut out paper for our little pocket. And of course, this string can be a bit of a pain in the tush. And the little ends will untwist. Let's get, whoop, see, now the whole thing fell out. All right, let's put this side in first, like so. And pull it through, okay. And then, again, it's a duh moment. We're going to take and we're going to put it through our hole on the other side, like so. And my running standard joke. And if you read the comments on some of my videos where I've been making bows, my friend Nat and I like to have a little bit of a chit chat. She commented on my one the other day, and I haven't in fact answered her back yet, but yeah. Okay, here we go, Nat. We're going to tie a bow. Again, another duh moment, but I'm just going to do this real quick. Okay, and Nat, I can't do it with no hands, although that's what you asked for. I'm going to tie my little bow, and there you have it, your little paper pad booklet, okay? Through all the little trials and tribulations, we made it, and you can see we have our little seam there, okay, which I've been showing you all along. Now, you could decorate these. I am going to leave them undecorated, I'm sure much to the relief of many of you. If I have time, I might in fact decorate this one because this one's a little bit plain on the front. I love the back, and yes, I did make a goof, and I scored it wrong because I did want this to be the front on the bottom, but yeah, there we go. So again, another lesson. Be aware of how you're cutting and scoring, and so if there's a piece on your paper that you really want to see, like that part I really wanted to see, yeah, make sure it's in the right area. Okay. All the fun and joking aside, while I was gone inking, I also remembered to cut out a piece for our pocket, okay? And I have altered this side, this pocket, from the size of this pocket because I thought maybe I'd want to try making a little bit of a bigger pocket than this one, okay? So while I was gone inking, all of about 3 minutes, I decided to change the size of my pocket. So what you're going to do, and I want this to be the top of my pocket, so I'm making sure that it's on the top. You're going to cut a piece that is 4 inches by 4 inches, okay? Easy enough, it's a square. And then you're going to take your scoreboard, and you are going to score at, because you want to make the gussets on this. I normally like my pockets to be a little bit fluffy so that I can tuck things into them. So you want to make gussets. If you don't want to make gussets, then you could just make a plain pocket. You have just about, I would safely say, 3 3/4 inches here. My suggestion would be to make your pocket 3.5 by 3.5 if you're going to glue it down flat. Okay, so this way it fits centered in your booklet. Okay, that's if you, number one, maybe you don't have a scoreboard. Number two, maybe you don't like gusseted pockets. But this is the way I'm going to do mine, just to show you, for those of you who may prefer it this way. Okay, so you have your piece that's 4 by 4, okay? You're going to put it on your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 1/4 inch down the side, okay? And then at 3 3/4 inches down the other side, okay? You're going to have a little 1/4 inch flap to tuck under your pocket. Now, the reason I was saying I want this to be the top of my pocket, choose your top and your bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn your little piece of paper so that your bottom, this is going to be the bottom of my pocket, is up against the side of your scoreboard. And again, you're going to score at 1/4 inch, okay? And I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to make sure that my score lines are firm without poking through my paper, okay? And then we're going to get rid of our scoreboard. Now what we're going to do is we are going to grab our scissor, and we're just going to snip off this little square here, right there. The score marks are this way. You're going to take and you're going to snip it off just below where they meet, because if you go up too far, you're going to have a little bit of a hole in your pocket, and I'll show you what I mean. Is it easier maybe for you guys to see on this side? All right, we'll do it this way. Okay, so you're just going to snip off your corner, like so. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. For those of you that have seen this This might be boring. Now your pocket's going to look like that. Now, because you don't want anything to stick out on top, again, you're going to snip off a corner from the side just to the score line, okay? Here's your score line. Might be easier for everyone to see, okay? And here's your bottom score line. And you can see how you just have that little point still sitting there, okay? You're going to go and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to snip from your score line to the end just to give yourself a little bit of an angle. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Here, I'll fold my score lines. Actually, let's fold them the way I want them folded. Excuse me. Let me grab a sip of my probably cold hot cocoa. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so we fold in on the sides. And you're going to fold up from the bottom. And you can see I didn't cut far enough away. I have that little pointy part there. So I'm just going to give another little snip. Okay. Just to cut off that pointy part. Okay. Some people cut on a little bit of a circle. So see, now you have your little edge. And I did the same thing on this side. So this is a good lesson for you guys. Just snip like so. And you're not going to see this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay? So you have your sides folded in and you have your bottom flap folded up. Okay? So it should look like, let's turn it that way. It should look like this. Okay? There we go. Simple lesson. Now I am going to make you suffer. Oh, and we want to add our little thumb hole. Take my advice, add your thumb hole after you make your score marks so that you know that it's centered. And I'm speaking like I'm actually going to get this in the center. I'm going to do my best to get my little thumb hole. Oh, not too bad. Get my little thumb hole in the center. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to ink around all my little score marks because you know me, I like my grunge. Okay, so I'm going to ink on those score lines. I'm going to ink on the top of my pocket. I'm going to ink my thumb hole. Don't worry, guys, the suffering's almost over. Okay, and our pocket is complete. Okay, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to put that away. I'm going to take my little booklet. Oh, and oh, where did it go? Hang on, guys. I wanted to show you my new toy. Hold on, I'll be right back. I have become dedicated. Excuse my squeaky chair. I have become dedicated to not ruining my mats. So what did I do? I went out. Oh, I got dog hair on it. Okay. I went out. We went shopping yesterday, my daughter and I. We had a fun little mommy-daughter day. We were at Target. And you can see my dog rubbed up against this. Okay. Well, I can't get it off. And I bought a silicone placemat. It's a baby placemat. Okay? This way, I can safely glue stuff down and not ruin my mat. Okay? Yeah, I'm silly. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to glue our little pocket in. Okay? So we're going to take our glue. And this is PVA glue. One of my subscribers, Nancy, hi Nancy, had asked me what glue I prefer in my little glue press. And as I explained to her, it comes with Nuvo glue. I can grab the bottle. This is the glue it comes with. It's the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive. And it's a good glue. It's by Sweet Petunia. It doesn't give you as much play time as my PVA does. And so I have put PVA into my glue press. All right, I'm just going to line up my pocket so that it's kind of centered. And again, I'm going to leave a little border at the bottom. Going to make sure that it's straight. And it's pretty straight. And you can see I can move my pocket a little bit. And see I got glue oozing out. And it's not going to get on my mat. And I want to say hi to Lorelle. at Forever Purple Creations. I hope I got that right, Lorelle. I'm going to grab my score tool. I'm just going to push this down. She did advise me that I could clean my mats with hand sanitizer, or maybe just a good scrub or some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and maybe I don't have to throw them away. Well, I already threw them away, and I didn't get a chance to try it. But hopefully I've remedied this situation by buying my little silicone mat here. But hi, Lorelle. Thank you. Oh, and hi, Nat. I'm going to get to your comments later on today. Okay, so there we go. There's our little pocket inside, like so. And now you have a roomy pocket because of that little gusset. And so you can take your little stuff and you can tuck it in. I have these. These are my leftovers. These are the Tim Holtz papers where they have the smaller squares. These squares are 3 by 4. And I did actually have a craft where I used them and made something, but I can't find it. Oh, I know what I made. Okay, I made this wonderful little booklet. And this will fit right in here. So little 3 by 4s, okay? I cut them and they're little booklets, okay? I can tuck them in like so. And there we have it. There's our little paper pad booklet. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope all the glue thing didn't make you upset. I'm going to take these out because you know me. My pocket's not dry and I don't want anything to get glued in there. But yeah, so here's all my little booklets. I'll even show you the goof ups. All right, so all are completely undecorated. So I hope you will, and this is the one I made the biggest goof on. I punched too many holes. I hope you'll go and try it. It's a lot of fun. I did want to try using some of my pretty ribbon in here. Boy, this is off by a lot. Let me see what I did wrong here before I let you go, or before you go away. What did I do wrong? I didn't punch my holes in the right place. What a numbnuts I am. I was off by 1/8 of an inch. Okay, guys, my measurements were correct. When you want to put your paper pad in, you want your mark at 3/4 of an inch, and I didn't put mine in the right place. I put mine at, oh, Lord. Okay. Well, your hole should have been here and here. That's why we're off, guys. Okay, I do apologize. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Measure your flaps from the top. Okay, I'm going to bring you down, or maybe I'll just bring this up. When you measure your flap from the top, your center line is going to be at 5/8 of an inch. Okay, that's from the top. From the sides, do as I say, don't do as I did. Make your holes at 3/4 of an inch and 3 1/4 inches, okay? I don't know what I was thinking, but that's why my paper pad is not centered, okay? You can see on this one, it is centered. And look at how far off those holes are, okay? So yeah, that's what I did wrong. But you know what? If you do the same thing that I did, it's still going to work. Okay? But, and we made a newer pocket, so it wasn't too bad. All right, guys, I'm going to send you lots of love and big hugs. And I'm going to try to come back today, and hopefully that one won't have a boo-boo. I'm going to try and make another video. But for now, I'm going to upload this one. So you should be seeing it today, Saturday. If not, early Saturday, it'll probably be later in the afternoon. And if I can get to at least one of the other videos, the third video is a little bit of a crafty thing. I'm going to show you how to make your own little mini clipboard, a little decorated one. I've done a couple in the past, and I've given them as gifts. And they're kind of cool. And I want to really try and experiment with that one first before I show you guys how to do it. That one's probably going to involve a couple of links so you can get the same things that I'm using. But yeah, Lots of love, big hugs. Please, please, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and if you're so enlightened, share. I'm going to say you can share. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.